Aloha, shalom, salam, was good. Going live now for the full moon activation. Make sure you have your water, because you're a conduit. You need to stay hydrated. Do whatever you have to do to be the most receptive, which means being comfortable. So if you need a little blankie or your warm tea, whatever it is, just get it ready, because I'm just going to take a minute to prepare as usual. For those of you who are new to these videos, thanks for being here now. We do these videos every week. They've been going on for years now, every single week. I've tried to stop, but and for those of you who are returning, it's so good to see you. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for being a part of this beautiful portal that's been growing and growing. Yay, so good to see you all. And Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I just did a video, a Kabbalistic talk about the current Torah Parsha, the current Torah portion for tonight. So if you want to see that, you'll just have to join our private group, Shabbat Crew, on Facebook, SHABBAT. You can also find it on my wall. It'll also be up, by the way, on my YouTube channel and Instagram, Rebecca Magic. So the full moon activation is all about seeing the whole picture of what's been going on this month, okay? We're not done. The full moon is the third part of the 4-quarter cycle. So next week will be about integrating this picture. But for now, we're just focusing on receiving the picture, fully opening up our eyes to see the whole illuminated picture of what's been going on beneath the surface of our reality. While I shuffle y'all into the deck, while I shuffle our energies together, just let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. Where in the world are you? Let's see the grid of light that we're creating in this moment. I'm tuning in from Sedona, Arizona. So good to see you guys. Mexico, UK, Manchester, UK, Tucson, Canada, what's up, what's up, yay, Colorado, we have Oregon, Florida, Cottonwood, AZ, Chicago, Illinois, Tucson, Arizona. It's cool to see all these places and just imagining holding hands with everybody, you know, or Albuquerque, New Mexico, Virginia. So you can do whatever you want to do to connect. Use your imagination. Connecticut, California. I like to see these different places lighting up as you comment them, or I like to see us holding hands, or I like to see us holding hands all across the planet. Michigan. So do whatever you got to do to connect. Bend, Oregon, Philippines. I'm saying this is worldwide, y'all. This is a worldwide community here. So really tap into that. Germany, Australia, California. Nevada, Mexico City. There's a fly. He wants to get in the portal. Orlando, Massachusetts. Woo! What's that? Mexico, Canada, Australia. All right, so then go ahead and, oh, we got a lot of Australians today. Awesome, we usually do. Love that, love my Australians. So go ahead and connect with the deck however you know how. The main thing is, guys, remember the principle of mentality, the principle of the mind. The first principle of Hermetics, everything is mind. It all begins and ends there. So it's the universal mind. How can you make sense of your connection to this deck? Because if you can make sense of how you're connected to this deck, then you can really believe it, and you can really tune into that bond that you have with the characters of the deck. So for those of you who don't know, these characters, these faces are personified representations of fundamentally operative laws. They represent universal truths and wisdom that lives within each of us. And giving them a face and putting symbols to them helps us to connect to them, helps us to understand, helps us to create that neural pathway of understanding, which becomes a bridge for us to literally connect with these otherwise inaccessible primordial energies that are really the building blocks of all of creation. Isn't that so funny? It's inside of us, it's in all things, these laws, these archetypes, but we would have no way to connect with them unless we formed these neural pathways of understanding. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Right on. All right, then I'm gonna grab my other deck. This is my Hebrew deck that I made myself. I'm gonna shuffle it in as well. So again, also the Hebrew letters, they work the same way. Torah, Tarot. The Hebrew letters also represent different archetypal wisdoms. They're a collection of archetypal wisdoms. And all this wisdom lives inside of you and me and everything. So what's the message for the full moon? What is the main archetype that represents the lesson of this month? And I like to call it the challenge and gift. And for some of us, we're more on the challenge side. And for some of us, we're more on the gift side. And for most of us, we're a little bit of both. So what's the card that's representing the main theme of this month? The challenge and gift. That we're now really going to be able to recognize at this point in the cycle because it's the full moon, full illumination. How are others viewing us? How is the outside world perceiving us? This is a really important question. People will say, it doesn't matter what people think. Oh, but it does, because we're all a part of this one collective and we need to be aware of the multifaceted perspectives that are really all a part of the one. It's you. We define ourselves through those around us, through our reflections. You see the center through the peripherals, you know what I'm saying? So it is very helpful to see, how is the outside world looking in at me? Am I supported? Am I not supported? What's going on there? Ooh, okay, a hidden fear is coming up. I want to pull that one. And then with the Hebrew deck, we'll pull an ally. Are you empty? Are you open? Are you hollow? Are you ready to receive this message? Or is there something you need to set aside for a moment? Just take one moment, that's all it takes, to declare that you are here now fully open to receiving the message and no longer carrying that thing that's been going on in a loop in your mind. The heaviness you've been carrying, whatever it is, whatever it is, you can pick it up after this activation. Just set it aside for this moment. And if you could, please take a moment also to very intentionally envision us as a collective unit. Everybody who's tuned in right now and everyone who will tune into the recording later, just envision, doesn't have to be in words, envision that we all just clear right now. We're open, empty, united, ready to receive. This would be a great moment to share this video in your favorite groups or with family and friends who you think could benefit from what we're about to do, or to share it with those whom you think could actually activate the message further with us. Maybe you have a very powerful friend that you think should get in the portal right now. Share it while we're live. And if not, you may feel called to share it afterward, the recording, and that's also totally fine. Okay. So what's the theme of this month? What have we been going through? We always start off with so much power, you guys. I love this group. Phew. Ace of Wands. We have 78 viewers right now. Okay, awesome. This is really powerful energy. Ace of Wands. Aces are initiations. They're new beginnings. And depending on the element pulled, it reveals the initiation of what elemental wisdom we're going through. By the way, you guys, my new book, The Royal Path 2, is actually not so new now, huh? It's published in March. But the second book is all about this, the elements and the minor arcanum, and how to understand the aces and how to understand what the suits represent and moving through each part of the sequence. So if you're interested in learning more, it's in my book. So the Ace of Wands, this is an initiation within the suit of Wands, which means it's an initiation to dive deeper into the wisdom of fire and spirit. So if it was cups, if it was an Ace of Cups, for example, it would be like we're initiating an emotional lesson. We're going deeper with the understanding and compassion of emotions, our own and the world. But this is fire. We're talking about the spiritual realm. So essentially what this is telling us is that this month, it's been a new beginning on our spiritual path. That what we've been doing this month has been huge in regard to this mission we're on of going deeper with our spiritual wisdom, with our fire, with our passion, with our creativity, with our spiritual and psychological expansion. This is huge. So everything we've been doing this month has been giving us this new opportunity to dive deeper. And it's just the beginning. It's the ace. It's the beginning. We have the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And don't forget, we also have the court cards. The way that I teach tarot is Kabbalistic because we don't just look at the card that's pulled. The card that's pulled becomes the access point into the sequence. It includes all the rest. We don't just look at that one card. So for example, we see that we're at the initiation point, but we're able to look ahead because we know the sequence and we could say, okay, what comes next? The 2, the 3, the 4 of Wands, the 5 of Wands, the 6 of Wands. And if you want to know what those are about and what's ahead, grab my book. Reach out to me, ask me to ship it to you. I would love to. It's also on Amazon, The Royal Path 2, Journey into the Minor Arcanum of Tarot. And that's how you know what's ahead, because the tarot is a sequence. It's always in sequential order. And don't forget that we have all the court card archetypes in us. Okay, so we have the page, we have the knight, we have the queen, we have the king. As we move through this journey of deepening our spiritual wisdom, now that this is beginning, we got to remember we're all of those court cards. We're the page, we should be as the page, the youthful archetype, who's receptive and not, stubborn in their ways, still youthful and open to learning new things, because that's what this is about. I mean, why else are we on this journey but to open up to the new information? Okay, so I want you to really think of the court cards right now. As we're on this journey, we're saying, I want this initiation. I want to go deeper on my spiritual path. And that's what this month has been offering me. So I'm going to remember to remain as the page of Wands, as the youthful one who's receptive. I'm going to really make sure I pay attention to the darker side of that archetype, which is beautiful and full of lessons, of where am I being stubborn? Where do I think I know everything? Where am I being naive? Where am I being too hasty? Where am I, being too fiery in my youthful element? How can I be a little more, pour some water on that, a little balance, right? And then remember, I'm also the Knight of Wands as I move through this. I have everything I need to take action on my spiritual path as I go through this journey of deepening this spiritual wisdom. I have what I need to take action. Think of the knight. He's on a horse. He's moving. The Knight of Wands card, by the way, is super fiery because knights are fire and wands are fire, so we call it the fire of fire. You can look it up, the Knight of Wands, if you want to see what it looks like. I recommend, because the tarot is also a visual meditative tool. It's very magical. Okay, and we're also the Queen of Wands, who is the heart of the fire. She's the water of fire. She's the emotions around the spiritual situation. So we have that within us. We have the ability to tune into our heart's wisdom as we move through this journey of spiritual expansion. We have the heart. And then, of course, we're also the King of Wands, the king of our spiritual path. Each one of us, man and woman, we have all these archetypes. It's important to address each one because these court cards are basically our foundational archetypes as we move through any of the suits, because there's a page, a knight, a queen, and a king in every suit. And we have to remember those 4 are the ones that will help us move through each of the initiations, each of the aces. So again, you're also the Knight of Wands, who is the master, who's the one who knows what to do with the heart, with the queen, with the emotions. He knows how to direct that energy. The king is the one who's mastered the lesson. So it's very wise to imagine yourself in each of these energies. Imagine, What do you look like as the Page of Wands? What do you look like as the youthful and receptive archetype on your spiritual journey? Imagine yourself as that page. And what do you look like on that horse as the Knight of Wands? What does it look like taking action on your spiritual path? Really envision yourself in that empowered state, taking action before it happens, so that you're prepared and you're familiar with that archetype as it exists within you, so that you're ready to embody it when the opportunity comes. And what does it look like for you to be the Queen of Wands? Men, don't be afraid to do this. I'm saying everybody needs to do this. And I'm not saying you need to envision yourself in a dress on a throne. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, what does it look like for you to be the Queen of Wands? As in, what does it look and feel like for you to be in your heart on your spiritual path? How can you envision yourself really resting in that space, connected and attuned to your heart, so that as you move through this journey, you remain connected, you remain centered, you remain in tune with your emotional nature, which is equally as important to remaining in tune with your logical king nature. And then, again, the king. What does it look and feel like for you to be the king of your spiritual path? And ladies, I don't mean wearing a crown and pants on a throne. It's not like that. This is archetypal. What I mean is every man and woman and child. Ask yourself, what does it look and feel like for me to be a master of my spiritual path? That's tuning into the King of Wands within you. That's what it looks like. Again, this is all in my book. So reach out if it interests you. Okay, so this is this month. This is the challenge and gift of this month. This is the theme. We are beginning a new initiation on our spiritual path. We're about to learn our next round of lessons so that we can spiritually evolve. And this is not just about the individual, it's also about the collective. Together, we're about to grow in a huge way, spiritually. The spiritual fire, this is the Ace of Wands. It's an initiation for us as one collective consciousness. How is the world viewing us? We have a queen. Now we have a royal card. Speaking of the court cards, here we go. Queen of Pentacles is the heart of the mind. In my book, I talk about elemental manipulation. The suit of Pentacles is actually air. It's not earth. And if you want to know more, again, I have videos about it on my YouTube channel. Reach out to me. I'll send them to you. Also, it's all in my book. So she is the heart of, or the emotions of, the mind. She's the one that knows in her heart how to direct her thoughts to be centered on those things that are most important, that need her nurturing love, so that she can then manifest into this reality a creation that reflects her giving all her energy, mentally specifically, to what is important. Okay, so if this is the card of how others are seeing us, remember this is individual and collective, so I implore you to really think about both in your meditation after this activation. We're seeing each other right now as figuring out what our heart wants us to create, what our heart wants us to focus on in thought, so that it can then blossom, come to fruition, be manifested. We're all seeing each other going, what's really important to me? What's really important to me? And how can I focus on that and manifest it in this reality? So that's very powerful, and it's suggesting something here, suggesting that what we should do is be more conscious of this process that's already organically unfolding. We have the opportunity here to really look at ourselves and go, okay, you're on the right track. You're considering what is most important to you in this reality and how to direct your thoughts to nurture that, so that we can see it manifested in our world. What are you nurturing in your mind? Because that's what's going to blossom in this world. Energy goes where attention flows. So how can we also encourage that in each other? How can we make each other aware that this is what we're doing? Even if you were like, this is BS, I don't believe that this is what we're doing right now. Could it be a bad thing to encourage each other to, like say I'm talking to my friend and I say, hey, I want to ask you a question. I want to suggest that you focus on something that's really important to you. What's really important to you? And how can you give more attention to that so that your reality reflects this, this importance, what's important to you. It's like we have certain morals and values, right? For example, let's say I'm like, well, honesty is really important to me. Then my friend can say to me, okay, well, really think about honesty and see yourself being honest, and in your mind envision opportunities for cultivating that honesty, and then watch how the opportunities will come your way to be able to manifest more honesty in this world. You see what I'm saying? How could this be bad for us to encourage each other to look into our heart and see what's most important, and then from there direct our thoughts toward that which is important, so that we then, as a result, manifest something that comes from that place. It's like a triangle is happening if you look at it. It's like, and this is a very occult topic that is spoken about in the occult sciences, this triangle that I'm about to explain to you. It's like we have the heart, what's important in there. We raise it up to the crown, to the head, and you can envision like a crowned heart, which you've seen in occult symbolism before, probably. Raise the heart to the crown, and then project it into the world. This is like a pyramid going on. This is a pyramid process of alchemy. The queen, the king, and then the child. Birthing that into the world. Birthing a manifestation of their unity. The heart, the mind, the product, the union. The product of the union. And so that's what the Queen of Pentacles is saying, but it's in this position of how the world is seeing us, right? So what that's saying is we have to encourage this within ourselves, but also within each other. Hey, how are you focusing on what's in your heart and then bringing that into your awareness, to the forefront of your awareness, so that you can then manifest something of that? Simple. All we need to do is encourage each other to look inside our hearts and ask what's really important. And encourage each other to focus on that in the mind, so that it becomes something in our world. Simple. And this is something that's coming in that could be a challenge for anyone. We get attached. We have attachments and expectations. We want people to be how we want them to be. We want to see them how we want to see them. And so oftentimes we don't want to encourage each other. And this could be very subconscious. For most of us it is. We don't want to encourage each other to be who we really want to be in our hearts. We don't want to ask, hey, what's in your heart? Go for that. We want to say, I want to be in your heart, and I want you to go for me. I want to tell you what's in your heart. And this is the toxic masculine that's in each and every one of us. It's the one that wants to control. But we need to let go of that, and really, if we want to access the deepest initiation being offered to us right now, we need to let go of our need to control each other and simply encourage each other to look at that which in our heart is actually true, beyond our projections. And even if you feel like you don't do that and you're totally perfect and pure, amazing, then you still have work to do. The work is still the same. Be an example of that. Great, good for you. You think you're already there? Amazing. Then continue to be that, because there are a lot of people in the world who are not there yet. Most people in the world do have control issues, and it's not bad. Everything is perfect. Everything's in the hands of the Creator. But we need to encourage each other to continue to purify. We need to continue to be these purified examples. The work is never done. Again, most people have control issues. Most people are projecting. Most people do not have the ability to hold that pure space for others and say, hey, beyond my idea of what I think is right for you, I just want to hear, what do you think is right for you? Beyond what I think should be in your heart, which is me, I'm going to ask, what's actually in your heart, sister? What's actually in your heart, brother? And I'll even go as far, and I'll suggest this is a suggestion if you want to do this too, I'll go as far as to say, like a little disclaimer, like, hey, I want you to know that I have no expectations, I have no judgments, and I want the best for you, having nothing to do with me. If I'm involved in that, amazing, and I'm grateful and I'm honored, but I also want you to know this has nothing to do with me. And with that said, could you tell me what is in your heart? I want to know for real. Having nothing to do with what I expect or what I desire. I want to know beyond all that what you feel genuinely in your heart. And then from there, I want to continue to be your friend, your sister. And I want to encourage you to bring what's in your heart into the forefront of your mind. So that instead of having thoughts in there of what other people think you should do, or what other people think should be in your heart, or what you think I think should be in your head or heart, I want you to have in there what's in here. I want these to match. I want these to be aligned. I want that for you. I want that for me. I want that for the one. So I'm going to do everything I can to create the opportunity to be, have that maximum receptivity to do this process. You see, because we have in our heads a lot of stuff. We have like, oh, this person said this, or this person wants this from me, but I really want to make all these people happy too. So there's like all this stuff going on about what we should think, what we should do, what we should say. But we're being encouraged right now to look within, ask ourselves and ask each other, what do you feel in your heart you should think, say, do? Brush away the rest, clear away the extraneous BS, and put that shit at the forefront right there. I encourage you to be consumed by that which is in your heart. Let your head and your heart be aligned, because I know that inner harmony leads to outer harmony. Peace within leads to peace without. What's worse than bad habits and What's worse than bad habits is being misaligned within. We at least have to be in harmony with our beliefs, with our inner contracts, with our programs. When there are conflicting programs within us, then that reflects as chaos without. So what I really want for me, for you, for the one, is that harmony between head and heart. I want my feelings to match my thoughts so that I'm in alignment to be able to act from a place of harmony, so that I'm contributing to harmony in the world. So yeah, I want that more than I want you to like me. And I want that more than I want to, be your girlfriend. I want that more than I want anything else. So I'm not going to project to you what you should think or what you should do. I'm going to, in fact, work toward the opposite. I'm going to work toward neutralizing that program within our collective. And I'm going to do my best to make myself and you most comfortable to honor your truth in your heart, so that you can then allow that to rise up to your head and blossom like a lotus, washing away all the other stuff that you thought you should think, say, or do, replacing it with that which you know you want. Your highest self wants to think, say, and do, untainted by anyone else's shit. Oh, a hidden fear. We got another wands. We got fire. So we have an Ace of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, 8 of Wands now. Very clear. 8 of Wands is about following the signs. Following the spiritual signs. It's fire. It's, again, spiritual dimension. And the signs then manifest in the other elements, right? Like, signs would then come through our emotions. They would come through our bodies. Our bodies speak to us. So this is the spiritual dimension, but as in one, so in all. So the spiritual signs come through the other elements. Again, they come through water, they come through earth, and they come through air. They come through our thoughts, they come through our bodies, and they come through our emotions. So how this comes up as a hidden fear is saying maybe it's like this. I'm afraid I won't be able to see the signs. I'm afraid the signs won't be there. And simply put, all we need to do is neutralize this through creating the opposite mantra or an opposite affirmation. So it looks like this. Of course the signs are everywhere. Everything is a reflection of me. There's only one here. And I'm always speaking to me through the elements that I am one with. And you can make up your own affirmations, but that's an example. You might want to rewind that at the end of the video and write that down. Just saying. Or you make up your own, and please share it with us. If you come up with your own mantras for the opposite of this fear, share it in our private group, The Royal Path, so that we can share together. Maybe we want to write down everybody's and create a list and tune into that list together. That would be some powerful collective work, which is why we created this group and this opportunity. Okay, so again, instead of, I'm afraid there will be no signs or I won't know how to follow them, we just say, there are always signs. Everything is always speaking to us. There is only one. I'm speaking to me. All I need to do is pay attention. The signs are everywhere. Tune in. All I need to do is tune in So instead of saying, I'm afraid I won't see the signs, I see the signs. I saw the sign. It opened up my eye. I saw the sign. So that's the thing. And faith it till you make it. Even if you're like, but I won't see them. Because the ego is very strong. Your mind is going to be like, no, you won't. You won't see the signs. You're going to miss them all. You're going to miss every last one. Faith it till you make it. Doesn't matter. As many times as that ego wants to speak, let that be the devil, and then let the angel speak right back. Have this inner dialogue. It's okay. You're not crazy to have these different parts talk to yourself. That's why we're here, to have this inner dialogue of the different archetypes that live within us, because we have them all. So as loud as the ego wants to be, you let that voice of intuition be louder. Don't hate the voice of the ego. Don't kill the ego. It's there for a reason. It's amazing. It's so beautiful. We're training it. That's where the work lies. So every time your ego, which is the fear, says, I'm afraid I won't see the signs, I don't care if it says it again and again and again. Then you have to be responsible for remaining conscious and aware through this process to every single time respond to that egoic voice with the intuition that says, we will always see the signs. Of course we're going to see the signs. Okay? You have to do, this is the work that you have to do. No one can do it for you. It's inside your own mind and inside your own heart. You have to do it. It's up to you. So as many times as that voice of fear wants to speak, who cares? Let it. Let it. And have that dialogue with it. Meet it there and tell it. The signs are always there, and I'm always seeing them. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Yes, they are. And until you feel more conviction with the voice of intuition as opposed to the voice of ego, keep going, keep going, keep going. Even when you feel the conviction, keep going. Keep going. We don't want to just neutralize the fear. We want to tip the scales. We want to be so confident in what is real, which is universal truth. And the truth is that the signs are always there, and you will always see them if you just look. If you just declare, I know the signs are there. Declare the signs are there. Declare the signs are there, because they are, and you know it in your heart of hearts. Even right now, I feel everyone who's watching right now going, yeah, I'm lying to myself when I say they're not there. You know the signs are there. Everything is a sign. Like Albert Einstein says, you could live one of two ways. Either everything's a miracle or nothing at all. Every single thing is in perfect divine order. Everything is a sign because it's all a reflection of the one that is you. So understand this and really make sense of it. And that's how you will really lock in the belief that of course the signs are everywhere, and of course you will see them and tune into them at the perfect moment when you're meant to. They're inside of you. Your body speaks to you. Body wisdom. You're one with the elements. They're all around you. Look at nature. Nature is the most reliable source to extract these signs, to detect these signs. You're speaking to yourself. I speak to I. We speak to we. Through the elements that are inside of us and all around us. Your emotions are water. Your body is earth. Air is your mind. Fire, your spirit, your spine, your Shekinah, your Kundalini. It's inside of you. What are those things? What are your emotions telling you? What is your water saying? What is the winds? What are the winds telling you? The air of your mind, your thoughts. Your thoughts are signs. Pay attention. It's inside of you. What are the seasons telling you? What are the seasons telling you about where we're at? Why is the moon full? What is that telling us? What is that reflecting to us? At which part of the cycle are we at? It's right there. The signs are everywhere. I can't tell you how many one-on-one readings I do with people where we're like, a week and a half into the cycle, we're not yet close to the full moon, and people are saying, I don't know what to do. I feel really unclear about what decision to make. And I'm like, wait, be patient for the full moon. Not that it has anything to do with the moon, but the moon is reflecting back to us what's going on within all things and within ourselves. It's just yet another reflection saying that, okay, now the full illumination is here. Now you'll be better prepared to make a decision because now all the pieces are revealed. This happens every time with readings. I look to the moon to see where we're at, and it's always reflected in people's frustrations and in people's comments when they come to me for a reading. I'm like, just look to the moon. And that's only one reflection. There are so many in nature all around us. And again, inside of us, the signs are everywhere. Okay, one more card. I'm going to pull our ally from the Hebrew alphabet. I already pulled it. I'm going to turn it over. And it's the Kaf. And I love this. It's connected to the 11 in the tarot. The Kaf is connected to the archetype of strength. Again, it's a manipulation. In modern tarot, strength is number 8. This is a manipulation. I talk about the truth on my channel, my YouTube channel, and in my books. Kaf is associated with the strength card. And that card looks like the female, either opening or closing the lion's mouth. We don't know if she's opening or closing. And this card is all about tuning into our strength. Kaf is all about our true strength, which lies in our humility and our receptivity, which is why it shows a woman on the card, because this archetype exists within all of us, but it's talking about the feminine principle. It's talking about the feminine polarity, the one that is not active but receptive, which is required in order to be humble, in order to be, passive, in order to be open and magnetic to receive God's strength, which is the greatest strength beyond our own small human strength. When we talk about strength in the tarot or the Torah, we're talking about divine strength. We're not talking about brute strength. We're talking about our real power, which is actually passive, which is not our own, which requires an opening, which is the feminine. Each of us have this principle. This principle is within all of creation. It's the one that is magnetic. And so when we are in that element, we are magnetic. We're in our magnetism, and we attract, we open up to God's power, power of the Creator or Source, Allah, whatever you want to call it, Hashem, Krishna. It's the feminine aspect that allows us to do that. So in order to access our true strength, we need to be in that receptive femininity. The feminine is the one who works behind the scenes. It's like the snake charmer. It's the one who moves from the inside out, not the masculine the other way around. If we're active, then we're pushing outward. Our energy is pushing outward. We cannot receive. But when we're completely open, again, we become those conduits to source energy. It comes through us and acts for us. And that is the highest form of strength. So if this is our ally, what is it saying? By the way, the Kaf is the evolution of the Bet. So what I'm saying there is the Strength card is the evolution of the High Priestess, card number 2, also known as the Veiled Isis. If you see Kaf, or the Strength card, 11 can be reduced to a 2, showing you that it has the same key note as the High Priestess. So what does that show? And look, it's a female, right? It's feminine, a feminine archetype. We have the High Priestess and then the Strength card, which is also a female. 2 of the 3 cards that reduce to a single digit of 2. The third one is Judgment, by the way. And I have a course on this, you guys. I have a whole hour or hour and a half long class on this sequence, the evolution of the High Priestess. So reach out to me if you want that particular class. It's in a Google Drive file. I'd be happy to share it with you. So again, this is the second of the third evolution of the 3 evolutions of the High Priestess. It's showing that first we had the High Priestess. She maintained the balance within. And then Strength is letting that balance out into the world. The High Priestess is the keeper of the balance, and the Strength is the expression of that balance. So what is it saying if it's our ally? It's saying, remember, as we are being initiated into a deeper level of spiritual wisdom, as we embark on this new journey on our spiritual path, and as we focus on what it is that's really in our hearts, that's going to then be brought to the forefront of our mind, to then be brought into manifestation, the best thing we can do is be guided by our true strength, which is not ours, but strength of the one. Because if we remain humble, and we remain connected to Source, and we remain tapped in to that strength as conduits of that power, that great force, it will carry us through our mission in the most powerful way. And remember, within each of the major arcanum cards, all the rest are contained. So of course, all of the allies will serve you. All of the major arcanum cards will serve you in all moments. But it's just simply saying that right now, this one is our ally for a reason. So focus on this as the access point, the main priority, the priority energy to embody right now at this time of the full moon, for this week at least. You are the strength card. You're the humble strength, the strength that is not your own, but the strength of the one. Allow that to carry you through as you go on this new mission with your spiritual path. And as you begin to determine what it is in your heart you need to focus on, put the spotlight on. Doesn't that make sense? As we're trying to figure out what it is, it's really in our hearts that we should bring to the forefront of our minds to then bring into creation. We better be doing that from a place of humility. We better be doing that from a place of knowing that our strength is not our own. Because without that humility, we may lose sight of what's real and what's true. We may give into selfish desires or give into something that doesn't necessarily seem bad, but is only self-serving, therefore not very sustainable. We want to focus on goals that are eternal. We want to focus on what's inside of our heart that when we bring it into our awareness and into the world is going to have a lasting impact, not just on ourselves, not just on our children, but on the next 7 generations, on the never-ending future. That's what the Kaf is showing us. Remember your real strength. It's in the one. It's not your own. It's ours together. So as you figure out what's in your heart that's worthy of bringing into the forefront of your awareness and into creation in our world, let it come from a place of humility. And let it come from a place of knowing that we're here to align our will with that of God's, with that of Hashem, Allah, Krishna, Creator, Source, Great Spirit. We're here to align our will with the will of the divine. And from that place, we can determine what is in our heart of hearts that wants to be focused on and brought into manifestation. And the signs are there and we know it. We're not afraid. We're not afraid. We're going to help each other to pull out that which is most important in our hearts, so that together we can bring it into the forefront of the collective mind, and as one unified consciousness, create something in this world that's going to be sustained for generations to come. And wow, is this in alignment with the Torah Parsha. Before I end, I just want to say I did the talk on the current Torah portion for tonight. It's in our private group Shabbat crew, like I said in the beginning of the video. And the Parsha is called Parsha Va'et Hanan. And it's the one tonight, the story is the one where Moses says, hey, I begged God, he's not letting me enter into the Holy Land, so before y'all enter, and he's speaking to the children of Israel, the nations of Israel, he says, before y'all enter, I just want to remind you of the tools that you have within you, and they're the foundational tools. You know, he talks about the Shema and the mezuzahs and tefillin and the Ten Commandments, the foundational things, right? Basically, he just reminds them of the elemental and foundational laws that are for all beings, not just for Jews. Not, forget the words, forget the language. Okay? And this really matches up with this story because he's saying, hey guys, this is like Moses with his staff, right? He's like, hey y'all, you're about to enter this land and I can't go with you. I can't go with you. And he's looking at the Holy Land from the mountaintop. He gets to look at least, right? And he's going, wow. And he kind of tells the nations of Israel what's ahead. He says, future generations are going to worship false idols. They're going to fall into separation from Creator. And that's okay because they'll inevitably return. And you can too, in any moment, even in exile, in any moment you can choose to return to the Creator. Return home to yourself. Return back to unity consciousness. So this is Moses with his staff saying, you're about to go on this journey, okay? And he says, but don't worry. All the signs are there. You have everything you need within you. You have the Shema. You have the ability to remember each moment. You have the commandments, the laws, which, by the way, are these signs. The laws, the commandments, are the things back of all things. They're universal truths. They're a system of law that's built into the science of our oneness. So the commandments, if you feel like I don't know how to read the signs, read the commandments and understand them. An amazing book to understand them from a Kabbalistic or metaphysical perspective. Write this down. Emet Fox, The 10 Commandments. The author is Emmett Fox, and the book is called The 10 Commandments. It's concise, it's amazing, I highly recommend. If you feel lost on how to follow the signs, study the commandments, because they are behind all things. Again, this is Moses saying, y'all about to enter, I can't go with you. Don't worry, you have everything you need within you. Remember what's important as you go into that land, keep your heart in it, and that's what you want to make manifest. Thoughts become things. So what should you be thinking of? You should be thinking of what's in your heart. Remember the triangle that we spoke about. Remember the pyramid that we spoke about. So Moses says, remember what's in your heart. That's what we want to manifest. And to know what's true, what's really in your heart, what's going to help to create something that is going to be for future generations to come, which is the whole reason y'all are entering this holy land. Remember Kaf, remember the strength of Hashem. Remember the strength that's within you. Remember the strength that brought you out of Mitzrayim. Remember the strength that brought you out of the narrow place into expansion. Remember the strength that brought you from the darkness to the light. It's within you always. Just tap in. So you can see how it's connected to this Torah story for tonight. So if you want to get more into that, you guys, we have a private group. It's called Shabbat Crew. Join us. I'm going to go live in the group tonight, 7:18 exact, for the candle lighting. It's 7:18 Mountain Standard Time. I'm in Sedona, Arizona. So if you want to join in with all of us, we do it every week, Friday night, in our private group, Shabbat Crew. And then again, we have our other private group, the Royal Path. Please feel free to join there. Thank you so much for sitting with me in the portal for this activation. It's full moon magic. For those of you who really enjoyed, please share with your family and friends. If there's someone you think could enhance this portal, please share it with them as well. And I hope to see you again next week for the final quarter activation, where we wrap up what has been going on this month. So this week is all about just really sitting with this. And next week is integrating it, really processing so that we can create a space for the next week, the new moon. It's all a sequence. It's all a cycle. All of it. And thank you for those of you who have been giving me feedback on my book. You know I always appreciate that. I'm actually reading it from front to back myself for the first time, my first book, and then I'll do the second. And I don't remember a lot of, I don't remember writing this. I was really in a space of channeling, and so it's kind of far out. So I'm far out there, but I really appreciate that so many of you around the world are grasping what's in it. I think that's insane and amazing and so cool and beautiful, and I love that we're doing it together and just fortifying this grid of light globally and universally. So thank you. Shabbat Shalom. I'll see you guys in our private group tonight for the blessing, for the candle lighting, and I'll see you next week for the final quarter activation. Shalom.